you mentioned earlier, you made the appearance on the HBO Max documentary Celtics City, and you appeared a lot in the most recent episode, episode 5, which covered the Larry Bird era, which your book, Wish It Lasted Forever, is based upon. What was your general experience working with that production, and how did it differ from writing the book?
Well, HBO, they're very thorough, and I mean, I really applaud them. It's a Simmons production and the Ringer, I guess. But man, they talked to everybody, and they spent, Lee Montville and Bob Ryan. I see them a lot, and we all did like 2 hour sessions 3 times. I mean, we were together for 2 hours at my home. That's all the porch stuff when you see us. And then I went down to Hellenic College where they used to practice for a couple hours. And I did another 2 hours. I forget where else, but it was like 3 different interviews. They had so much stuff. It's just amazing. You see that great stuff where they're talking to Red Auerbach's daughters and Casey Jones, first wife. And it's just, they got Casey singing in the nightclub. I mean, it's just like so well researched and such a mountain of interviews that they had to cull from. And I don't know, that would have been a really hard thing to sort through everything they had to come up with, narrowing it down to what you're going to use. The cutting room floor of that thing would fill the Grand Canyon.
And it's teased in the next episode that they're going to be diving into the 90s era of this team. Yeah. Without spoiling too much on that episode, is there anything that would have made the transition for this team into the 90s smoother, or and made it a little easier for this team to continue on their success through?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything beyond 5, so I'm the same as everybody else here.
Wow.
So obviously you have Len Bias drops dead at the end of episode 5, and clearly we're going into the downward spiral of the dark 90s. But so Len Bias not dying, Reggie Lewis not dying, that would have helped a lot. But yeah, it's a shame that they didn't get 1 or 2 more championships. McHale, breaking his foot in '87, playing with that. And it just, the Patino thing was a disaster. But they were, the league wants you to cycle down and come back up. And they certainly did that, because you went from 86 to 08 without a championship. And the whole region of Boston went from 86 to 02 without a championship, which is the longest drought in the history of our city. But yeah, we kind of, they got back to the finals, but yeah, the 90s were just dark. ML Carr and Antoine, Rick Pitino, obviously Reggie, Len Bias, and Red. That's really where Red. It's good they ended episode 5 with the end of that season and with Bias's untimely death, because that's really when things pivoted in a bad way, including Red. He was never the same after the Bias thing. That just broke him, broke his heart, and he was never current again, I didn't think. And he was a little bit delusional about that Bias. It was a one-time thing. He was celebrating too much, and he kind of convinced himself that it wasn't what it probably was. And which is, maybe not doing your homework, and there's so much more homework to be done now. It's always hard. But the league's just changed a lot, and you got to be real careful with those kinds of picks, but he was the best player, and they positioned themselves to have the best team, one of the best teams in the history of the league, and then get the best player in the draft, which is a great position to be in. But you see it all pivots at that point in a bad way.